Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday morning, May the 29th. We're nearing the end of the month of May, and we'll switch into June this weekend, and it continues to look like we'll have an active weather pattern across much of the nation. A continuation of some colder than normal air masses dropping from Canada into the U.S. One such air mass arrives in the northeast and mid-Atlantic region by tomorrow, and it should be well below normal temperatures on Thursday and Friday in the mid-Atlantic and northeastern part of the nation. There'll be additional colder than normal air masses as we transition into the beginning part of June. And with that, as a key ingredient, we have had severe weather outbreaks in recent weeks. There's been a spike in tornadoes since the latter part of April. Now we're at very high levels relative to normal at this particular stage of the year. And again, with that, a continuing active weather pattern, continuing pattern with these colder than normal air masses dropping into the U.S. from Canada, it looks like we'll continue to have the threat for some more severe weather as we go into the beginning part of June. We'll also touch upon the latest on the tropical scene, take a look at the latest on Sahara desert dry air that is sweeping across the Atlantic from the east to the west. And then we'll take a look at last night's conventional run of the GFS. First of all, let's start off with a little discussion here about severe weather and tornadoes. This is the probability for later today and tonight as designated by NOAA's Storm Prediction Center for severe weather. And the majority of the next few days will be out across the middle part of the nation with that severe weather threat. Right here today, a little bit of a risk here in the Ohio Valley and the Mid-Atlantic region later today into tonight for the possibility of some, I would say, isolated strong to severe thunderstorms. Certainly there will be showers, embedded thunderstorms in this overall pattern headed for the Mid-Atlantic region later today and tonight, and maybe a couple of strong to severe thunderstorms, but a greater threat right across the heartland, the middle part of the nation. Now, let's go ahead, clear the deck here, and we'll run ahead to the next couple of days. This is their probability outlook for tomorrow, and again, focused on the middle part of the nation. Again, a little bit of a threat, especially early in the day, across the mid-Atlantic coastline, extending up into the southern New England area. Again, that's on Thursday into Thursday night, but the main threat area on Thursday, again, out across the middle part of the nation, and we go into Friday, and again, the middle part of the nation. In this particular instance, it's kind of focused on the south central states, Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, for that threat of severe weather. And again, any of these afternoons and evenings can produce some more tornadic activity, adding to the already relatively high totals for the year. Well, in fact, let's take a look at those totals. This is what I call the inflation-adjusted tornado trend here in the percentile rankings by NOAA's Storm Prediction Center. They're based out in Norman, Oklahoma. Here we are at this particular time of year, about May 27th, right near the highest percentile for this particular date. And again, there was a spurt in activity starting right here. This is the latter part of April. And look at that dramatic increase in tornado reports over the last several weeks, again from the latter part of April all the way to now, the end of the month of May. And again, unfortunately, with what I see as a continuation of an active weather pattern, it looks like we may add to these totals over the next couple of weeks. Well, let's kind of switch gears right now, take a look at the tropical scene. This is a kind of an interesting map from the University of Wisconsin website. Just Google CIMSS University of Wisconsin. You get this very nice website dealing with tropical information. Nothing out here in the Atlantic Ocean, nothing in the Eastern Pacific. There is now one typhoon right here near Japan that will move to the north and east. And the interesting thing about this particular system that is, again, way out there in the Western Pacific, it's the first such system of the season. And I heard that this is the second latest start to the tropical season in any part of the northern hemisphere, the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean. So yeah, we do have a typhoon, but it was all in all quite a late beginning to the tropical season. It's been very quiet across the Pacific Ocean. Normally the Pacific Ocean is more active this time of the year than the Atlantic is. The Atlantic starts to ramp up typically middle and latter part of the summer, but even the Pacific has been relatively quiet so far. We do have this typhoon right now, but again, it was the second latest starting point for the northern hemisphere in terms of named tropical storms. In this particular case, this is a typhoon way out there in the western Pacific Ocean. Well, let's now take a look at a forecast loop of the Sahara desert air mass, and there is indeed some desert dry air sweeping westward across the tropical region of the Atlantic Ocean, helping to suppress any potential tropical activity. And it looks like that will be the case over the next few days. This is a forecast loop of the Sahara desert air. This is the Africa west coast right here, and it is moving along from east to west, riding along in those trade winds. Here's the Caribbean Sea right here and the Gulf of Mexico. So right now we have quite a decent amount of desert dry air across the tropical breeding ground region of the Atlantic Ocean all the way into the Caribbean Sea, again helping to suppress activity. This particular website, which by the way comes from myfoxhurricane.com, and if you go to Mike's weather page, you can find this there as well. Just do a search on Mike's weather page and you'll find this particular link. But this is a factor that I cited in the tropical outlook. Indeed, I do have a forecast of an above normal season and an active tropical season, but not quite as high as some other forecasts that are out there with 30 storms or more. And one of the limiting factors I think will be this kind of an intrusion of desert dry air. Again, it originates over the Sahara Desert of North Africa and rides along the trade winds this time of the year from the east to the west. And since it's so dry, it inhibits tropical storm development or tropical storm intensification. So it'll flare up from time to time over the next few months, again, kind of capping what I do believe will be an active and above normal tropical season in the Atlantic basin. But as long as we have some of these kind of air masses here, it may not be that record-breaking year that many forecasters are predicting. We'll just have to wait and see on that. But this is all the way through Friday of this week, beginning today on Wednesday, and certainly will be an inhibiting factor for any near-term tropical activity in the tropical Atlantic Ocean. Well, let's now wrap up with a look at the last night's run of the GFS, the zero-Z conventional version of the GFS, and we'll take a look here at the 850 millibar temperature anomalies, and again continue to have this influx of colder than normal air masses from Canada into the U.S. That is one of the key ingredients for the continuation of an active weather pattern, one that contains severe weather outbreaks, and unfortunately one that contains the threat of tornadoes. And again, we've had this spike in tornadoes from late April all the way to the end of the month of May. And here's a widespread colder than normal air mass as we begin the day here on Wednesday, and it drops to the south and east and really impacts the mid-Atlantic region on Thursday, the northeast U.S. on Thursday, and it kind of remains there all the way into the day on Friday. This is Friday morning forecast map. Again, out here in the middle part of the nation, we have a continuation of some severe weather threats, especially across the heartland here. And by the time we get to Friday, it focused on Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Look at this difference in temperatures here. Colder than normal air to the north and west, warmer than normal air to the south and east. And here's your clash zone on Friday. And we'll move forward quickly here and see that as we transition into the beginning of June, we'll still have some of these colder than normal air masses dropping south and east. Here we are now early next week, and you can see a new colder than normal air mass starting to show up here in southwestern Canada. And this is now next Thursday, June the 6th. Continue to move forward here because indeed we get to another widespread colder than normal air mass dropping right into the middle part of the nation. This is all the way out about a week and a half from now, June 9th. Still substantial influx of colder than normal air into well into the month of June, it looks like here, at least in this particular case across the central states, while the western states a week and a half from now way above normal. But this is all it takes to continue that active weather pattern, one that unquestionably will contain some more severe weather outbreaks over the next few weeks. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps from the Zero-Z GFS model runner. Very nice beginning to the day here in the Mid-Atlantic region, the I-95 corridor from D.C. to New York, Philadelphia. Clear blue skies this morning. However, sun will fade away rather quickly during the midday hours to thickening clouds, and we'll see here as we move forward there'll be kind of an expanding area of showers with some embedded thunderstorms. Again, an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm in this pattern here as an upper level disturbance pushes through the Mid-Atlantic region, so that increasing chance for showers and thunderstorms in the Mid-Atlantic region is for this afternoon, later this afternoon into tonight, and even into the early morning hours on Thursday. There can be some instability, especially across the eastern half of the Mid-Atlantic region, New Jersey, for example, New York City, southern part of New England, and then that shifts off to the north and east in a very cool air mass for this time of the year, comfortably cool air mass for this time of the year, envelops the Mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S. This is midday on Thursday. There'll be low humidity values tomorrow afternoon, places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, and tomorrow night dropping way down into the lower 50s in many of these areas. Thickness line here, kind of impressively cool for the end of May, a 546 thickness all the way down into the I-95 corridor region by early Friday morning. Now, we talked about the heartland of the nation and a lot of activity over the next few days. And again, each of the afternoons and evenings through the week here, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, will feature some strong to severe thunderstorm activity out there across the middle part of the nation. This is midday on Friday, and again, Friday's biggest threat looks like it'll be Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. And again, there's unfortunately the chance that we add to those tornado totals, not only over the next few days, but it looks like over the next few weeks as well, as this continuing active weather pattern goes right into the first and second week of the month of June. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.